wanted to tell is that, see, generally I have seen this students committing this mistake. Don't look at IR classes only from IR perspective. There will not be a bigger fool than you. You have to look at IR classes from the essay perspective, from the ethics perspective, from the interview perspective, and also from overall understanding of the world perspective. Okay? If you think IR only from the IR perspective, I told you I can finish IR in 8 to 12 hours. That's only IR subject perspective. So do not commit this mistake of seeing at IR classes only from IR perspective. Okay? See, having a thorough understanding of what's happening around, why it happened in the past, why India is engaging with somebody, why not engaging with somebody, all these dimensions need clarity as a bureaucrat. Okay? So it is from a holistic perspective, this subject is taught at this depth. Okay? So do not commit this mistake of looking at IR only from the IR subject perspective, because what happens is, I have seen the students suffering in what you call interview, suffering in essay writing, because now that you know so many dimensions of India's engagement in the past, you can use that information to write a proper perspective answer. Okay? Chalo. Yesterday I told you US also played a significant role in India getting its independence, right? The three dimensions which I spoke, these are the three what you call people who actually did something to give a message to the West, especially the United States, that this is a country that deserves to get the right to self-determination. It is the students of Indian origin who went to United States for education purposes, the personalities like Vivekananda and Rabindranath Tagore who visited US for the perspective of spreading the message of Hinduism or the art and culture of India, and lastly the American missionaries who were deployed in India for a purpose of spreading Christianity to India. Out of all the three people, the American missionaries played a very, very important role in spreading the message, in sending across the message about the struggle of India's independence. Okay? So that's how, remember, the American missionaries played a very important role. I am not saying they brought independence to us. No, that's not the point. The point is, because of the communication gap, direct communication link missing between India and US, because we were ruled by Britain, right? So Britain did not allow India to establish direct communication channels with US. So in this background, the American missionaries who were resident in India, they took the message of India's freedom movement or India's struggle to US, right? Now, see, while the official US policy followed an uneven course, see, the US policy always followed an uneven course when it comes to India. The US Congress, the media and the public remained steadfast in support of Indian cause. It means the US Congress, the media in United States and the general public, they all supported for India's freedom from Britain. Okay? American missionaries started arriving in India in the early 19th century, but they became known for their non-evangelic work. What is evangelism? Evangelism is spreading religion. It's called evangelism. But they became famous for what? Non-evangelic work. So this not only religion spreading, they also made efforts in some disease eradication, sending the message of Indian freedom struggle to America. So they indulged in non-evangelic works also, right? So the US Congress, the media, the public, the American missionaries who were deployed in India, they all played a positive role in making an impression in the minds of US that India deserves its independence. Okay? The end of the World War I saw a large number of Punjabi Sikh farmers and ex-soldiers migrate to the USA. The pioneer Punjabis also succeeded in getting the American immigration law changed to enable the Indians and other South Asians to reap the benefits of opportunities in USA. So, after the World War I, many soldiers who retired from the British Army and also certain Punjabi business entity people and also farmers, very important, they started migrating to USA. So, I think I told you about this. These people over a period of time, because of their hard working nature, they immediately rose to prominence in public affairs in USA. So these people also created a positive sentiment for India to get its independence from Britain. So they all also contributed. This all is happening parallelly to what is happening in India, that you need to understand. Indian struggle is happening, Indian movement is happening, but these people from the other side of the world, they are trying to create a positive tempo about India. Okay? Some of them even condemned the British misrule and supported the nationalist freedom struggle, right? Some Americans got together in the USA to form Indo-American National Forum. Please make a note of this. Indo-American National Forum to work for self-rule in India and to help Indian students in the USA. As I told you, early in the 19th century, 20th century, when the students from Indian origin started going to America, the forum that was established, Indo-American National Forum, this forum also played a positive role in creating that spirit of what you call independence in the minds of Americans. One more lobby, Indian League of America. Please make a note of this. Indian League of America, with British nationals, also advocated for British withdrawal from India to ensure just and peaceful settlement of Indian situation, and also condemned the British policy for being responsible for the most atrocious repression in human conduct. So two entities, one is the Indo-American National Forum, which is primarily the Indians who migrated and the local Americans. The second is the Indian League of America. Here the Indians who have migrated and also British nationals who are present in America, they also made a cry for the British withdrawal from India. So these are the other factors other than your national movement that is creating that what you call field for withdrawal of Britain from India, right? Though the USA maintained an anti-colonial and anti-imperialistic policy, the British persisted with their mindset of empire builders. So initially onwards, that's the reason why I told you America does not believe in colonizing a particular country. That's the reason why America never tells Afghanistan belongs to America. It will never say Iraq belongs to America, but it will intervene in the political affairs, internal affairs, but it will never claim that that territory belongs to America. So it always maintained an anti-colonial and anti-imperialistic policy, America ever since the beginning. But the point of thing that you need to understand is, though Britain and America were very close friends, Britain maintained a colonialistic and an imperialistic policy. So there was a policy ideological divergence between America and US. So that is how, despite US telling him time and again, come out of India, Britain did not come out of India, right? So it is only the Second World War, when the Second World War happens, the economic condition of Britain worsens. That is when, under these kind of pressure, and what happened in India combinedly put pressure on the Britain to leave India at the earliest. Okay, so these people also played an important role in India getting its freedom from Britain, right? So the US administration was not prepared to support the British colonial rule over India for all times. Why? Because it knew that, see, understand from the global politics perspective, America has its own hidden interest in forcing Britain to come out of India, because America knows that if Britain continues to what you call hold India for longer duration, even after World War II, Britain will try to get the money that it wants to to repair the war damages after World War II by forcing revenues from India. And if you remember, I told you America wanted to design the course of the international order all by itself, not by any other interference. So that is why America wanted complete dependence on the American monetary support for rebuilding Europe after World War II. So that is the reason why America also wanted Britain to come out of India, so that its revenue generation from India can ultimately stop and Britain becomes dependent on the American revenue support for coming out of the World War II, what you call damages that it had incurred. Okay? The pressure of US opinion, the anti-imperialistic stand of the Soviet Union, and the Chinese support for the cause of India's freedom. Chinese support for the cause of India's freedom. So China also played an important role. Why? Because China was worried for the continuous presence of Britain in Indian territory, because already Hong Kong gone, maybe if he continues to stay at my place, closer to my place, probably tomorrow China also will be taken over. So China also supported for the cause of India's freedom. China was then ruled by the Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek, you remember this guy, Chiang Kai-shek, KMT, right? And the course of the war finally forced the Viceroy Lord Wavell and the Secretary of State L.S. Amory to agree in principle that transfer of power to India was sine qua non at the end of World War. Sine qua non means it is bound to happen at the end of World War II. Please make a note of this guy, Lord Wavell and the Secretary of State for Britain, L.S. Amory, A-M-E-R-Y. So these two people decided that India will get its freedom after the World War concludes. So this is how you have to understand that the US, the Soviet Union, China all played a combined role. You know Soviet Union because of the rivalry in the East between the British India and the Soviet Union. So they all wanted, and one more thing you need to understand here is that the China, US and Russia, they know that if Britain leaves India, it will create a chain effect of other colonies also asking for right to self-determination in South Asia or Asian continent for that matter. And exactly that is how it happens. And not only in Asia, if you see lot of American colonies, they also got independence immediately after India got its independence, because a chain effect of anti-colonial mindset started enveloping the entire world, right? So India was the first to, the Britain was the first country to lose India. After that many countries got their independence because a anti-colonial and anti-imperialistic stand had developed by them, right? Now, the Atlantic Charter was a statement issued on the 14th August 1941. This is the time when the World War II is still going on, right? 14th August 1941, that set out the American and British goals for the world after the end of World War II. So this is a very unique situation when Britain and America, in the middle of the war, they have decided that we need to change the course of the world order after the World War II gets over, right? What it says, no territorial aggrandizement, means no more colonialization, no territorial changes made against the wishes of the people. Then restoration of self-government to those deprived of it, reduction of trade restrictions, global cooperation to secure better economic and social conditions for all, freedom from fear and want, freedom of the seas and abandonment of the use of force and disarmament of aggressor nations. This was the context of your Atlantic Charter. Very, very important even from your modern world history perspective. Please make a question. What were the basic tenets of Atlantic Charter, basic tenets of Atlantic Charter that determined the international world order, after World War II. See, if you remember, the situation was completely different after World War I. What was the situation after World War I? इसका ज़मीन मुझे चाहिए, Ottoman Empire का मुझे दे दो, German colonies French को दे दो. This is what was happening. I will share the Baltics, I will share the Eastern European, I will take Poland, I will take the territories of the Ottoman Empire. This is what aggrandizement was happening, means forcefully claiming stakes on something which is not belonging to you. So this was the mindset after the World War I. That is the reason why America decided, if we continue with the same mindset after World War II also, World War III will also happen another 10-15 years down the line. Because I told you, America is a country that believes in progress and not regress, because war creates certain conditions where the country, despite not engaging itself directly in the war, it will go back in the economic path, trajectory, right? So that is the reason why America decided during the World War I, that is why 1941, that the world has to follow a particular international order. The beauty of this Atlantic Charter was, if you remember Treaty of Versailles, you remember the Treaty of Versailles, Treaty of Paris, कुछ याद है? सब भूल गए. Treaty of Versailles, Treaty of Paris, People were taking the territories of each other. What the Atlantic Charter set a course is, you will not find any treaty on the lines of Treaty of Versailles or Paris after World War II, because no territories were distributed amongst anybody. So that is how the Atlantic Charter inspired several other international agreements and events that followed the end of the World War II. The dismantling of the British Empire, the formation of NATO, and the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade. GATT is your predecessor to your World Trade Organization, WTO, right? All derived from the Atlantic Charter. So just see the importance of this Atlantic Charter. One, the NATO dimension came. Second, the British Empire losing came, and the GATT also became a reality. So that is how Atlantic Charter not only dictated what is to be done, it also spearheaded a particular tone of engagement amongst the countries after the World War II. Very, very important in the history, Atlantic Charter. Winston Churchill's view, the right to self-determination was held exclusively for Nazi areas won in the war. This was the view of Britain, Churchill. But the Roosevelt said, who is the American president, he said it was a universal proposition and also applied to territories under colonial rule as well. Thus, for the US, India was a rightful claimant of right to self-determination. What this guy said was, this right to self-determination after the World War II, we will apply only to the territories of Nazi areas and not to other areas. But Roosevelt said, no, this right to determination should be applicable universally. It means all the colonial entities who are holding colonial countries, they have to, over a period of time, give away the right to rule, right to self-determination as per the wishes of the country of that particular people. Okay? That is how the differentiation in the appreciation of the Atlantic Charter was also visible, right. Then in 1949, this is the first time when the Prime Minister visits the United States of America. Prime Minister Pandit Nehru meets with the US President Harry S. Truman, very, very important person in the history of America. If you remember the Truman Doctrine that gave birth to NATO. What gave birth to NATO? रिवाइज नहीं कर रहे हो, पढ़ाई नहीं कर रहे हो, हाँ कैसा होगा? तुम्हारे से अच्छे डिग्री कॉलेज के बच्चे हैं जो बोलो करके आते हैं, इंटरमीडिएट के इंटीग्रेटेड के बच्चे हैं, ए फॉर एप्पल बोलने से एप्पल ही बोलेगा, ए फॉर एयरक्राफ्ट नहीं बोलेगा, हाँ ठीक है. All forgot, revise. That's why I'm telling you, learn the art of writing running notes, don't sleep in the class. ठीक है पवन, learn the art of writing running notes. When I am talking, look at me, hear me, but the pen should keep moving. That's how the art of running notes. ठीक है. Now, this Truman is also known for something else. Harry S. Truman, Atoms for Peace program, याद है क्या था? What was Atoms for Peace? यार या तो मेरे पढ़ाने का तरीका गलत है, या तुम लोगों का पढ़ने का तरीका गलत है, या सुबह का टाइम गलत है. हाँ, Atoms for Peace program was there, no? Atoms for Peace. हाँ कौमुदी, इंडिया चाइना याद है? याद है? मैं एक टेम्पो में आया था आज पढ़ाने के लिए, फुल मूड में. तुम पूरे मूड की टाइटें फिक्स कर दिए. हाँ? You guys are not studying at home. When you go back home, you don't revise what happened in the class. Nothing. Huh? Pujita? You don't revise? You revise? What was Atoms for Peace? Don't say I was absent, sir. हाँ बोलो. प्रेमलता, Atoms for Peace. The notification is out. 1105. It does not happen. Last time 675. 400 seats for you only. The time to grab. 1105 में अगर नहीं आएगा तो 600 में कैसा आएगा? This kind of opportunities come rarely. 1100, 1000, 1200, 1400. This is the time you should make it big. These are the opportunities. नहीं पढ़ाई करोगे तो कैसे होगा? भावना, what was Atoms for Peace? Everybody were there, no? You were also there, right? No? Gautami, you been there since first day, no? IR का classes. हाँ, तुम्हारे ले रहे हैं. हाँ, सुप्रिया. कल हाफ एन आवर पूरा IR का रिवीजन होगा. आई विल आस्क क्वेश्चंस टू एवरीबडी. प्लीज कम प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर द क्लास टुमारो. वी विल हैव योर क्लास ऑन मंडे. लावण्य, एवरीबडी हु इज एंड नोबडी विल बी एब्सेंट टुमारो. जो एब्सेंट हुआ उसको मंडे स्टेज पे खड़ा कर दूंगा. यू कैन ओनली बी एब्सेंट इफ यू हैव डाइड. अदर देन दैट यू शुड बी प्रेजेंट. If you are absent means we will have a rest in peace program here for you. Everybody should come, revise the entire syllabus that I have covered in the last 15-20 days or 1 month or so. पूरा syllabus revise करो, ठीक है? On this Saturday, after the current affairs class, the weekly current affairs class, we will revise the last month all the articles that I have posted on the Telegram channel. I will ask questions to you. You can see the articles once when you come for the Saturday test. Again, nobody will miss the class of that. If somebody misses that class, I will myself kill you, even if you don't die. ठीक है? पढ़ाई करो. पढ़ने के लिए आए हो ना? कौमुदी, पढ़ने के लिए आई है ना? कौमुदी वापस चली गई थी, उसको पकड़ के लेके आया दोबारा. लिटरली पकड़ के लेके आया. Am I right? She had gone back. I said it's not my cup of tea. पकड़ के दोबारा लेके आया, पढ़ाई कर बैठ के. यहाँ Life has given you second chance. People don't get. ठीक है? We had Kavita madam, no? Remember her? She came only to get a feel of it, how it feels to get educated. That's all. Her intention was not to pass this exam. Her husband told day one, sir, I am joining her because she wanted to study. That's all. So people did not get their chance to do something big in life. You got a chance. Do big. Visit the new secretariat building where you have to sit. I told you, no, which 5-star hotels you have booked. Yesterday I told you, right, to book a 5-star hotel. हाँ, कहाँ जा रहे हो राहुल? Which 5-star hotel you are going? How many 5-star hotels are there in Hyderabad? यार कम से कम ये तो पता होना चाहिए यार. This is not. हाँ. How many 5-star hotels in Hyderabad? हाँ. There is no 5-star hotel in Hyderabad, for your information. They are all 3-star hotels. They are no 5-star ratings. 5-star के लिए बहुत सारी चीज़ें होनी होती है. Go to Taj, Bombay, where the attack happened. Don't go when the attack is happening. Go when it is peaceful. My best experience of my life, Taj stay. It is beyond explanation. You cannot explain what you feel when you are there. But it comes at a cost. The cost is sweat, blood and time for you. ठीक है? सुबह सुबह उठना is painful task, right? పవన్ చదువుకోవడానికి వస్తున్నా, నన్ను చూడడానికి వస్తున్నాను. చదువుకోవడానికి వస్తున్నావు కదా మరి ఎందుకు చదవట్లేదు? I expected you will give the answer. Atoms for Peace was a program for because there was only one nuclear country at that time, right? America wanted to make money out of it, so it propagated one theory that atoms are for peace, not for war. On that pretext, it sold the nuclear technology to the entire world. India also is a beneficiary of atoms of for peace. It is only when India conducted the first nuclear test, America disengaged nuclear engagement with India. ये सब पढ़ाया था ना? So this guy went to America to meet this gentleman with the purpose of getting nuclear technology for India. That was the purpose of visit. ठीक है? Now, the trip precedes India's formal proclamation of neutrality in the developing Cold War. What does it mean? Before going to America, Nehru said, I am not joining the Cold War poles, either west or the east. Before going only Nehru declared, so that this visit of Nehru to America should not be looked at as a move to align with America. So that is the reason why before going only he declared, hello, I am coming, but it does not mean that I am siding with you, right? So the trip precedes the formal proclamation of neutrality in the developing Cold War, in which it would take a leadership role within the non-alignment movement. So India was one of the founding members of the non-alignment movement. This sets the tone for US-India relations throughout the Cold War, creating constraints within the relationship as well as opportunity for amity between Delhi and Moscow. So very, very important. Try to understand. Make a question. Discuss how the Cold War dynamics. Discuss how the Cold War dynamics shaped India-US relations. Shaped India-US relations in the backdrop of India receding to RECEEDING, receding to the norm, receding to the norm, non-alignment movement. What does it mean? What does it mean? What is the duration of Cold War? 1945 to 1991. 1945 to 1991. It means that this entire period of Cold War, India's relationship with America were constrained. Historically, no relationship because there was no communication. The moment the communication was established, the Cold War dynamics spoiled the mood. The moment Cold War dynamics spoiled the mood, again for another 40 years, the relationships got constrained. So despite the fact that India got its independence, the bonhomie between India and US could not develop. So that is the reason why you will even today see there is always an element of suspicion between India and US. The most dynamic common shared value between America and India is democracy. But the problem is the perception of democracy between the two countries varies drastically. So that is also the reason, though there is a common shared value, that common shared value could not remove the element of suspicion. So that is how these are lot of constraints between India and America. If you go and type on the Google India US arms deal, weapons imported or anything, nothing will come on the view file because nobody has written anything about it. That's the beauty. It is only certain organizations like ORF, CIPRI, like your Statistica, these people are now researching about India-US trade. So that is how now we are getting certain information on the international organization's website, but there is nothing otherwise. Okay? The one report which has come in PIB, make a big box and put a star mark, we will discuss this also. Year-end review, defense year-end review, डिफेंस का ईयर एंड रिव्यू पीआईबी में है, ईयर एंड रिव्यू 2022. Whatsoever happened in the domain of our defense, complete I think around 30-40 pages, a quick read, and इसमें से 30 to 40 prelims questions can be made. So try to read it from that perspective. You can leave the last 3 or 4 pages. Other than that, the entire document in its holistic perspective is important for your prelims. Okay? We'll have the economic survey classes soon. Mostly the moment I complete this, I'll start. Probably by next Monday we'll start. Today is what? Today is what? Thursday? Today is Thursday. Next Monday is not the coming Monday, next to next Monday. We'll start the economic survey and budget also. Okay? Chalo. Now, the India-US relations during the Cold War, the period of Cold War remained a low phase. And secondly, while India adopted the non-alignment, the US became the spreader of capitalism. If you remember, our Nehru was more inclined towards socialism because of the success of the Bolshevik revolution, right? That's why we were more inclined there. The US brought Cold War to the doorsteps of India. Pakistan, Sri Lanka, yaad hai? Pakistan, Sri Lanka. So that is how the US brought Cold War to the doorstep of India by making Pakistan a member of CENTO and SEATO. As a result, India tilted towards USSR, resulting in the growth of suspicion. Between whom? Between India and US. Because of this reason, again the suspicion developed. However, the democratic values displayed by India during the Cold War helped US to find a synchronization with India, due to which US extended help at economic and social level, but not at defense level. Economic and social level. That is how, despite the fact that you were not aligned with him, he gave certain what we call economic policy considerations towards India, purely because of the common shared value like democratic values. Okay? And which gradually democracy became a shared value between the two countries. Okay? Now understand the importance of shared value. Through this help, the US was able to keep a check on China and prevent India from completely gravitating towards the USSR. That's how the arms support during the Sino-Indian War of 1962. So that is how during the 1962 war, US also supported India by providing certain arms and equipment to India to fight the Chinese, right? However, during the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, the US threatened India with nuclear retaliation. See, who threatened whom? US threatened India through nuclear retaliation. So ये जो पाकिस्तान धमकी देता है ना इंडिया को न्यूक्लियर रिटेलिएशन का, he has learned from his father basically. Okay? इंडिया को न्यूक्लियर का धमकी देना चाहिए. If you remember, this is the time frame. India is still not nuclear. That is why that nuclear retaliation, because he is trying to say that what I did with Japan, I will do it with you. But we did not fear America, right? This has remained a sore point in India-US relations till today. Till today. That is the reason why one of the meetings Jaishankar said, I remember what US had made statement about India during the 1971 Liberation War. See, you have to understand, the name of the war is given as Liberation War. So very very important. ठीक है, जान के लोग ऐसे नाम लिखते हैं. After 1974 peaceful nuclear explosion, US isolated India by creating the nuclear suppliers group. All these prove that ties remained low in the Cold War. So Cold War dimension में this was the entire duration, the relationship between India and US were in low tide only, the entire duration of Cold War. ठीक है? See, one thing you remember, we are now coming after the Cold War, 1991 time frame में हम आए हैं, ठीक है? But one thing you understand, there is a small problem between India and America. This is the biggest problem, not small problem. In America, the army chief or the army people, they do the business related to defense also. Means, you know what you call sitting in the meetings, deciding what weapon to give, how much to give, what should be the cost, how much should be the weapons delivering, what should be the date. All this is decided by the serving armed personnel only, very high ranking officials. But in India, it is the civilian establishment that controls. So you all, when you become bureaucrats, Tomorrow you will decide, the soldier who is fighting on the battle, how much ration he should be given, what weapon he should be carrying, what should be his nature of duty, whether he should be aggressive, whether he should be what you call defensive. All these policy decisions are taken by civilian entities in India, and in US it is the defense entities. So what happens is, when the civilian entity go, there is a high chance, and it so happens on ground, that the understanding of a civilian entity to understand what he is offering is also very, very minimal. So for that purpose, India has now started incorporating certain defense experts also. That is how the Office of Chief of Defence Staff came into being, and that, if you remember, he is responsible for procurement, training and all those things. But this was not the case earlier. So purely the defense, when the defense personnel of America were dealing with you, our civilian bureaucrats were dealing with them. So there was lot of disconnect between what was being offered and what was being understood to be offered. So that was a big challenge between India and America. Kicklighter was basically, in 1991, he was the army chief of the US Army, right? So the Kicklighter proposals immediately after the Cold War. This was followed by Malabar 1, Malabar 2 and Malabar 3 exercises. Very important exercise between India and US. The Kicklighter proposal started talking about sharing of defense equipment between India and America, buying and selling of defense equipment. In 2005, India-US new framework for defense trade. All are important, please make a note. In 2005, India-US new framework for defense trade. Our entire defense trade is based on this particular document that we have signed in the year 2005. See, 2005 is known to be the most fruitful year of discussions between India and US, because this was the same year when we also signed the civil nuclear deal also, civilian nuclear deal also, right? In 2010, Indo-US counter-terrorism cooperation, counter-terrorism cooperation. 2012, DTTI, Defense Technology and Trade Initiative, please make a note, Defense Technology and Trade Initiative. Whatever weapons that India is purchasing from America today, they all come from the 2012 signing of DTTI, Defense Technology and Trade Initiative. We have purchased 130 CJ, no, Globemaster. That 130 CJ Globemaster is what? What is 130 CJ? Aircraft, which is a transport aircraft. 130 CJ is a transport aircraft that we have purchased from US. That also happened under the aegis of defense technology and trade. So sharing of technology and also trading in defense related items. Okay? In 2013, joint principles for defense cooperation. This is where dimensions related to technology transfer were reinstated much in detail. Okay? 2013, establishment of defense policy group. Very, very important body on in relationship, defense relationship between India and US, defense policy group. This is the think tank between India and US who keep meeting at regular intervals on the platform of defense policy group, and they discuss about the geopolitical situation. Based on that, which weapons should be given or sold to India. Okay? America wants to sell F-16s to India, and India does not want to buy F-16s from America, because America has given F-16s to Pakistan. So it does not want India to buy F-16s. The reason is, even if the aircraft is sold, still the selling company or the country can hold certain avionics control of the aircraft. So that is when, in a warlike scenario, if I am dependent on F-16s to fight a battle with Pakistan, there is a high probability, because of the deeper relation between Pakistan and US can play dirty with Indian aircraft, what has been sold to India. So that is the reason why India does not buy the F-16s from America. And the capability of this F-16s vis-a-vis the Sukhois is also not very good. In the dogfights, F-16s are not considered to be good. Dogfight is a fight between two aircrafts in the airfield, right? So in that, in the airspace. So in the dogfight, American F-16s is not considered to be so strong against the Su-30 that we have, Sukhois. So that is why India continues to have its fleet majorly led by the Sukhois and the Mirages, right, which are primarily from Russia. Okay? Then in 2014, India-US declaration on defense cooperation happened, and 15, India rapid reaction cell moving beyond buyer-seller dynamics. Please make a note of this, rapid reaction cell. See, what was happening was from 2005 till 2015, for 10 years, suddenly it became so that we got a feeling that he is seller and I am the buyer. So we said no, it should not be the case. See, because do not see the defense equipment from the purpose of purchasing something, because the possession of certain defense equipment can change the geopolitical context also. So the defense equipment should not be seen as a purchase from the perspective of buyer-seller relationship. It cannot happen, because it is not a good or normal commodity. The moment I have taken S-400 from Russia, I have given a message to the world that my basic strategic partner as regards my defense equipment is Russia. So in defense equipment, this concept of buyer and seller does not hold good. It could be good for any other thing, but for defense equipment, it is always beyond a buyer and seller relationship. So to whatever was there from 1991 till 2015, to upgrade the relationship, India Rapid Reaction Cell was basically activated. And if you remember, CATSA was in news, no? CAATSA, CATSA, Countering American Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. Countering American Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. क्या है ये? What is this? CATSA? हाँ, what is CATSA? हाँ, purchasing weapons from Russia. If somebody purchases heavy defense equipment from Russia, America will put sanctions on that particular country. But India is the only country that got a waiver even after purchasing S-400 from Russia. The credit goes to the reaction cell, India reaction, US-India reaction cell. Okay? In 2016, LIMOA was also signed. What is LIMOA? Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement. Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, in which both the countries decided, logistics exchange memorandum of agreement, as per which both the countries decided that they can provide their certain naval bases and air bases for joint operations for non-defense purposes, Okay, we'll come to this in some time more. Yeah, now please make a note of this entire slide as it is very important. Why the security remains a weak dimension between India and US, which is naturally strong with Russia, but it is weak with US for these probable reasons. First is difference in the perception of the global role. Difference in the perception of the global role. Interventionism versus strategic autonomy. America believes in interventionism, India believes in maintaining the strategic autonomy. So there is a difference of ideology here. Third is aggressive changes to strategic situations versus hands-off approach. Like when Saddam Hussein was there in Iraq, we were trading with Iraq without indulging in what is happening in Iraq. We trade with Iran even today. We trade with Russia even today. We trade with Saudi Arabia even today. But the problem with US is, US does not only trade, he tries to change certain dynamics in the country with which he is trading. But India does not believe in that concept. India always maintains a policy of hands-off approach in the internal affairs of that country. If I want oil from that country, till such time that country is providing that oil to me in the rates which I am agreeing to pay, I am least bothered what is happening in that country, unless and until my Indian diaspora is negatively affected in that country. Other than that, I am not interested. If that country's leader is a monarch, if he is a dictator, I have got nothing to do. But America follows a policy of changing aggressively the strategic situations in the countries that it is what you call engaging with. That is the reason why India does not want to deeply engage with America, because tomorrow he will start interfering what is happening in India. So that is the reason why, if you remember, America at regular intervals says, I am ready to mediate on the Kashmir issue. India says, thank you very much. So that is the reason why we do not allow them to interfere in our internal affairs. Then role as a superpower, India's non-acceptance. India says that nobody has given you, bestowed you with this what you call leadership role, that you stake claims that I am the superpower of the world. He said, "Kahan likha hai?" India tells, this is the uniform that you have worn yourself. Nobody gave you this uniform to wear as the protector of the world. There is a difference. Geopolitical underpinnings also, because of the proximity of Pakistan with America, we have a problem in security engagement, deeper security engagement with America. US not coming out clean on its aim in Asia. Very, very important point. In your answer, it should be, if possible, first point, chalega. The US is not coming out clean on what is its aim in Asia, whether it is economy, whether it is geopolitics, whether it is global superpower status, what it is trying to do. See, understand, Europe has never questioned the authority of America. Am I clear? Europe has never questioned the authority of America as the superpower. It is only the Asia that always questioned. The Russians questioned, the Chinese questioned, the Indians questioned. You will never see any West or the European country questioning the authority of America. It is only the India, China and Russia, because there is one policy, make a box, Obama ke time pe he had enunciated this policy, pivot to Asia, PIVOT, pivot to Asia, pivot to Asia, ASIA, pivot to Asia. इसके बारे में गूगल करना, ठीक है. He is trying to tell something about importance of Asia in ensuring the geopolitical stature of America, ठीक है. And based on this only the book was written, Destined to War, America and China. It is said that they are destined to fight with each other, right. Then ideological differences, I told you, they are pure capitalist and we do not believe in pure form of capitalism. We give space for capitalism to flourish, but capitalism as a policy is not propagated in the Indian economic circles, right. And lastly, hardcore capitalistic approach of America, which is detrimental to India's interest. So that is the reason why we do not go closer to America. So the security remains a weak dimension. So that is the reason why you will not find any major defense equipment India purchasing from America, ठीक है. Very good. This slide is talking about how we negotiate with respect to defense deals with America. India focuses on sovereignty, America focuses on alliances. America says, agar ye hathiyar dunga, become my alliance partner. India says, I want the equipment, but I will not become your alliance partner. Second, India favors the rule book. America believes in writing the rule book. America believes in writing the rule book. India says, no, the rule book is already present, that my sovereignty is uppermost important to me, right. Then India, the Cold War suspicion is still continuing. That's what I told. The Cold War suspicion is still continuing. The political leadership plays a crucial role. That is why you will see, when this guy was there, the relationship was different. When this guy came, the relationship was different. When this guy came, the relationship is again different. So that is the reason why, depending on the leadership role, and also when this guy was there, the leadership was different. Manmohan Singh, leadership was discussed, now completely different. So that is how the presence of a particular prominent leader on the center stage of political spectrum across both the countries has decided the course of defense engagement between both the countries. ठीक है? India wants technology transfer. America does not believe in technology transfer. This is the biggest challenge with America. It does not share the technology. That is the reason why DTTI had to be specifically brought in 2012, Defense Technology and Trade Initiative, right? India wants technology transfer. India aims for joint production. America does not believe in joint production. So this is a problem between India and America. Structural problems in India, the defense deals are led by the civilian bureaucrats, while in US it is led by the military officials who have an upper hand in military diplomacy. So there is a structural problem also between India and America. That is the reason why there is a difference in the negotiation style between India and US. That is the reason why we are not able to deeply integrate with America when it comes to defense purchases and all. Okay? And India looks for support from the foreign player in defense production in my country, but he will not support. One more important thing is the life cycle cost, very, very important. See, Indian DPP, DPP is Defense Procurement Defense Procurement Policy, latest trends, last chapter internal security पढ़ाया था. डिफेंस प्रोक्योरमेंट प्रोसीजर 2020 पढ़ाया था. हे राम, मैं सब छोड़ के हिमालय चले जाता हूँ. हाँ, तुम सबको छोड़ के आई गो टू हिमालयस. एक कमंडल हाथ में लूँगा, एक गेरुआ वस्त्र पहनूंगा और हे राम करता हुआ निकल जाऊँगा. ठीक है? लाइफ विल एटलीस्ट बी हैप्पी आफ्टर दैट. नो टेंशन, मेरे बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, एग्जाम में पास होंगे नहीं होंगे, कोई टेंशन ही नहीं रहेगा, है ना. करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ो, बोलने का टेंशन नहीं है. मुझे खुद पढ़ने का टेंशन नहीं रहेगा. सबसे अच्छी बात, आई विल स्टार्ट रीडिंग माई सेल्फ, द नेचर, द ऑलमाइटी गॉड. बेटर नो. फॉर योर कॉज वाई शुड आई सफर हियर. అంతే కదా. यू सफर फॉर योर कॉज, वाई शुड आई सफर. बिल्कुल नहीं पढ़ रहे हो तुम लोग यार, कैसे होगा. हाँ, सुनो. Whenever we purchase an equipment, we say, you first question you ask when you go to a shop, कितने का है. That's what we believe in, fixed cost. But American defense sales are not fixed cost based. They calculate through the life cycle cost. India does not believe in life cycle cost. The problem is America says, even if I sell an equipment to you, there would be certain dimensions that I need to come there and train you. I need to at regular intervals repair it, upkeep it. This is called life cycle cost. But India says, तू पहले बोल कितने का है. So he says, तुमको कितने साल के लिए चाहिए. He says, तो कितने साल के लिए क्या होता है. I have taken means it is mine. But then how will you upkeep it? Then there is a life cycle cost involved. India says no, it is only fixed cost. You tell me how much. So these kind of technical glitches are also there between India and America that are not making the defense procurement to go smoothly. So America talks about the life cycle cost, India talks about the fixed cost. That is a problem. Why? Because see, there is a problem with life cycle cost. The moment you say life cycle cost, say if it is for 20 years or 30 years, how do you cater for inflation? Because their inflation is negligible, but here inflation is 6%, 8%, at times 10% also. So the life cycle cost will go drastically high. So that is the reason why India does not talk about life cycle cost. It says, it talks about the fixed cost dimension. The US officials also face problems related to negotiating prices with India. हमको डिस्काउंट मांगने का बहुत शौक है. होते ना 10 रुपए की चीज़ को 6 रुपए में, 5 रुपए में, 4 रुपए में मांगते हैं, राइट. तो वो तंग आ जाता है, बोला यार ये क्या तुम तोल भाव कर रहे हो, इट इज़ एन एयरक्राफ्ट, इट इज़ नॉट अ आलू प्याज सब्जी that you are buying in the market, but India has this habit of negotiating the prices, right? So that is where it is disturbing our relationship. India favors more customization of the equipment. Yeah, this is the biggest glitch. Please underline this, customization of the equipment. See, India is a unique country. You have mountains, you have glaciers, you have deserts, you have jungles, you have marshy lands, you have everything. So India says you have to customize my equipment because I have varied conditions in which the Indian armed forces operate. But these people are not. The Americans lost the contract to Rafael purely because of this customization dimension. अगर अमेरिका कस्टमाइजेशन के लिए अग्री कर जाता तो probably we would have gone to America to buy those aircrafts, but America did not agree for the customization. So that is when finally we had to go to Rafael. See, you have to understand, we are safeguarding frontiers where the heights of the mountains are automatically above 8,000 meters. 9,000 meter का तो पहाड़ है, इसका मतलब the aircraft has to fly above that. So that is how you need to have certain customization requirements when it comes to aircraft, and especially this problem comes with helicopters. When you go back home, please Google about this Augusta Westland case. Augusta Westland case, AUGUSTA WESTLAND, Augusta Westland, ठीक है. उसके साथ ही एक आएगा हेनरी का लेक्सी केस करके आएगा. when you type Augusta Westland, you understand one helicopter, when we were purchasing with somebody, we wanted some alterations in the height parameters of the performance of the aircraft. So all these things will come in that particular Augusta Westland case, ठीक है. So this is these are some of the major reasons why my defense trade with America is not kicking the way it is supposed to go. While the German and French suppliers are good at customization, the Americans struggle with customization. The France is especially very good with customization. Okay? Yeah. The USA has signed 3 important military agreements. Please make a note of these 3 agreements. Very, very important from the examination point of view. First is the General Security of Military Information Agreement. General Security of Military Information Agreement. As the name suggests, it is an agreement for safeguarding and sharing the military intelligence between the India and USA. So General Security of Military Information Agreement, very, very important. Okay? It was signed in the year 2002. 2001 attack on US happened, no? तो अब वो खुद ही आएगा साइन करने के लिए. हाँ बोल भाई टेररिज्म क्या होता है, तो दिल से ओबराय सर की क्लास है, कल सुबह 7:30 बजे आ जाना, है ना भावना. So that is when, see the timelines, everything is happening because something has happened then. ठीक है. Then second is Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, लिमोआ, हमने बात की थी. As per this agreement, India and USA can use each other's military bases to carry out repairs and for resupplying, but not for offensive capabilities. Only for carrying out repair, military bases to carry out repairs and for resupplying. क्या हो गया नवीन? Why are you not writing? Why are you in a trance mode? गाँव गया था. You went to home in thoughts. Here only, but it doesn't look so. Right. Did not sleep properly? Did not sleep? What were you doing? Studying? Don't tell me. Roaming around? Watching movie? I like your honesty. किताबें पढ़ो, पिक्चरें कम देखो, ठीक है, पढ़ाई करो. And the third very important, COMCASA, very important, Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement. Please make a note of this, COMCASA. What it says, this agreement is to share and secure communications exchange between two nations during training exercises and operations. COMCASA, COMCASA, Communications Compatibility and security agreement. So whenever you are doing what you call, see that's what I told, no, interoperability एक word आया था, interoperability. Whenever you go for joint exercises like Malabar and all, you should know what frequency he uses, you should know what are his call signs. If there is a threat, what he will tell, what is the code word for threat. If he sees two ships coming towards him, what is the code word for two ships. If that ship is a civilian ship, what is the code word. If it is a defense related ship, what is the code word. If he can see any major weapon installed on the ship, what is the code word for that. So all these things, that is the reason why the word is compatibility, communications compatibility and security agreement, so that during training exercises and real operations, information can be exchanged exactly the way the other person understands. So these are the three very important defense agreements that have been signed between India and America. Okay? And other than this, we spoke about DTTI also, right? Defense Technology and Trade Initiative 2012, that is also a major this thing, right? Other India's defense agreements with US, in this please make a note of this, which is very important. Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement. Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement. These are all related to innovation and all, but this is an operational agreement. Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement. Okay? So these are some of the important defense related what you call agreements that we have signed between India and America. Military exercises, one is Yuddhabhyas, second is Vajra Prahar, third is Tiger Triumph, Tiger Triumph. And other than this, we know that there is a very famous exercise which India and US jointly does. Japan also joined, now Australia has also joined the Malabar exercise. But the three exercises, Yuddhabhyas, Vajra Prahar, which is Vajra Prahar is a special forces of India and America. Yuddhabhyas is basically a military exercise, an army exercise between India and America. And your Tiger Triumph is a major military exercise carried out with the US involving all the three tri-services, that is Army, Navy and Air Force. The exercise name is Tiger Triumph, Tiger Triumph. So three exercises, Yuddhabhyas, Vajra Prahar and Tiger Triumph, and with also a major exercise called Malabar, which is India, US, Japan and Australia. Australia joined in 2020. Homework for you is, when did Japan join the Malabar exercise along with India and US? In which year Japan joined the Malabar exercise? Please make a note. ये बॉक्स में बनाओ और घर जाके होमवर्क करो. India's nuclear journey, we know initially the Atoms for Peace program India also got, but ever since India carried out its exercise, what you call name of the operation was Operation Smiling Buddha. Smiling, not laughing. Buddha does not laugh, he only smiles. Okay? Smiling Buddha. Okay? Smiling Buddha. Good. Very important, from suspicion to strategic partnership. See, India is the only country which has not signed NPT, which is not part of NSG, which has not signed the CTBT, but still getting nuclear energy from America. The only country in the world to have so many exemptions despite India not signing all these things. America is trading with India when it comes to nuclear technology, but civilian nuclear technology only, not defense, only civilian nuclear technology, right? US headstrongness on dates, see, they were very clear that this will be the date, and they said any country that possessed the nuclear weapon before this date is a nuclear weapon state, NWS category. NWS category. Any country that had nuclear weapon before this is a nuclear country. Any country that had developed nuclear technology after this is a nuclear, non-nuclear weapon state. So that is the reason why India has been kept under the NNWS, which India says, I have a sovereign right to carry out my nuclear research and what you call demonstration whenever I feel so. Who are you to stop me, and who are you to dictate this particular date? So the nuclear diplomacy with America has generally been disturbed, because of this geopolitical context and also because of these international agreements that were brought into place only and only with an intention to stop India from becoming nuclear what you call command authority. And in 2004, next step in strategic partnership, please make a note of this, very important, because this is the one movement that created that ripple positive effect between India and America. Next step in strategic partnership. If you remember, I spoke about this guy, J.N. Dixit yesterday. J.N. Dixit was the person who was the national security advisor under Vajpayee's government. So this was the guy who sent 3 idiots, I told you, which included Jaishankar sir also, to America to do bandwagoning about India's nuclear energy deal and all. So finally, within a year, the Condoleezza Rice, yesterday I spoke about her, who happens to be the US Secretary to State, US Secretary to State, box बना के इसके बारे में Google करो, very important appointment, US Secretary to State, Condoleezza Rice, the lady with a bob cut, who came to India, and finally all the negotiations related to civil nuclear deal were finalized in India when she was in India. It was only when next year, in the same year, Manmohan Singh goes to US, that is where he signs the agreement, and the civil nuclear agreement between India and America is famously called as 123 agreement. Please make a note of this, 123 agreement, very important from the examination point of view. Okay? And the signing of the 123 agreement happens in July 2005 when Manmohan Singh goes to America, right? But there was a big problem with this 123 agreement. The problem was make a note, very important. एक बॉक्स बनाओ, यू रिमेंबर भोपाल गैस ट्रेजेडी, थोड़ा गूगल करो उसके बारे में और लिखो उसके बगल में. एंड वन मोर बॉक्स, फुकुशिमा डिजास्टर, जापान में न्यूक्लियर डिजास्टर फुकुशिमा, FUKUSHIMA. एंड वन मोर न्यूक्लियर डिजास्टर Chernobyl, CHERNOBYL, Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Chernobyl, Fukushima and Chernobyl nuclear disaster. ये तीनों गूगल करो, कल पूछूंगा सवाल इसमें से. And the point is, these nuclear disasters, see what happened is, in Bhopal gas tragedy, there was an foreign entity that was the owner of this particular entity, in which the gas leak happened and so many people died. The problem was when it spoke about civil liability. What is this civil liability? Civil liability is, there are two liabilities, criminal liability and civil liability, right? Whenever a nuclear supplier is supplying an equipment to a nuclear installation entity in India, this act says if anything goes wrong, the supplier is also equally responsible for supplying a faulty equipment to India. But what they say, because at the time of purchasing the equipment, you are doing complete check of the equipment and I am giving you equipment as per your whatever terms of reference that you are saying. So why are you punishing me for giving an equipment that you have asked in the specifications that you have asked? So I should not be punished. If you want, I can be partner in some compensation, but I will not take the criminal or the civil liability. So that is how there was lot of debate after this 123 agreement, where the US Congress did not agree on certain tenets that we had what you call put in this 123 agreement. So what we will do is we will stop here today and we will start from this civil liability for nuclear damage. Not much is left. I think, in fact, I had the will to complete it today. I think 20 more slides would be there, but they are more of convergences and all those divergences between India and America. Okay, so this is it. Anything anybody wants to ask? What has been covered today? You are free to ask. Otherwise, we'll continue from here tomorrow. Yeah, if anybody wants to ask. What has been covered today, or maybe before classes also, if somebody wants to ask, they are free to ask. See, when it comes to US, understand the ideological underpinning. The Cold War is important, the defense agreements are important, the nuclear agreements are important. In the commercial diplomacy, I will talk about commercial diplomacy. Certain dimensions of commercial diplomacy are also important. The GSP, generalized system of trade preferences, and all those things I will speak tomorrow, don't worry. Okay? But do not miss the essence of the relationship. It is all with even today. Even today, we suspect America of evil intentions when it comes to relationship with India or the rest of the world. Okay? Yeah. Anyone else? Any questions? No questions? So today you have a long breakfast, but don't have heavy breakfast. Okay? We have classes lined up after this. So, thank you. What was the homework I gave? कल क्या पूछने वाला था? Saturday क्या था? Tomorrow I said I'll ask. Don't take advantage of my dementia, please. My forgetfulness. क्या पूछता हूँ बोला अभी? లేదు అది కాదు రే కొడతా నాతోనే एंटायर आईआर रिवाइज करके आओ बोल के बोला हाँ अच्छा बेटा मेरे साथ ही खेल रहे थे चल थैंक यू